What's up? It's Detective Dude here, presenting to you Part 2 of Black Ops Zombies, Mysteries and Clues. First and foremost, I recommend that if you have not already watched Part 1, you go and watch now because I reference it multiple times within this video. The link is on screen right now, and I'll also add it in the description. The first couple of clues that I'll show you today are clues from firing range which I did not find earlier and have been reported to me or I've found since I've made Part 1. Well, after I made Part 1, a bunch of people went up to me and told me that firing range is a map that is Cuban and it's not an American base. So let's figure it out. Okay, first we fly back to the Gateway to Hell sign from video 1, and it says quarantine. Quarantine is the French word for quarantine. So this makes us think, is firing range a French base? Well, I don't think so, because if we fly out here outside of the map, we can see like some training grounds and a USMC sign. And we all know USMC stands for United States Marine Corps. Since we now have that firing range case settled, let's talk about some zombies and some zombie clues that I found. The first new clue on firing range is this please wait flag in the corner of this map, which is the exact same flag that you see in the top right corner of the Pack-a-Punch machine when you're upgrading your gun. I got a bunch of requests to check out the shower room, so let's check this out. It says quarantine and there's a biohazard sign on the wall. Sound familiar? All these quarantine signs, biohazard signs, and now the please wait flag, all in firing range are starting to get a little suspicious. If we go inside the shower room, another quarantine sign. What could this mean? It's kind of funny, this looks just like the quarantine sign on the Gateway to Hell sign. The final clue on firing range can be found inside this room, a Drac body count poster with a bunch of months, letters, and numbers. I have honestly no idea what Drac body count means, but I'm pretty sure body count means how many people have died. All these clues and evidence seem to be pointing towards my theory, and I believe that the Americans, they were trying to create zombies like the Nazis. The next thing I like to mention is some Nuketown secrets that I found out. Well, on the ever-famous bookshelf in Nuketown, the Edward Richtofen book says DG2 and DG3. You might not know what this means, so I'll tell you right now. DG2 is short for the Wunderwaffe DG2, a German weapon featured in the two Nazi zombie maps Shinonuma and Der Riese in Call of Duty World at War. When it's upgraded, it's called the Wunderwaffe DG3, JZ. Another bookshelf mystery that really confused me was all these books labeled Koran. Mike Koran is a name on the Gateway to Hell sign, and all these books are labeled Koran. So who is this guy? One thing that you might not know about me is that I have a PhD in zombology, or the study of zombies, and being a zombologist, I decided to research this man in the same place where every other zombologist researches: the magnificent website of Google. One of the first results said meet Mike Koran, Nova. Nova reminds me of a certain level in the campaign, and it reminds me of a certain toxic gas that is in the campaign. Let's click on this link. The link, which I'll provide in the description, leads us to an interview for a man named Mike Koran who works for a company called Nova. A coincidence? Maybe, but first, let's read some lines from the interview. Being the lazy person I am, I only skimmed through the article, but the top line was a line that really struck me down. Let's read it. Mike Koran has spent a lifetime in workforce development, so he knows a few things about the world of employment. But if you ask him what job he wouldn't want, he'd tell you without hesitation, anything of heights. I don't like heights. To the normal reader, this is a completely natural thought, but to the suspicious zombologist of the Tiger Dude, this requires more investigation. As you may or may not know, on February 1st, 2011, the Call of Duty Black Ops First Strike map pack will come out, with 3 new multiplayer maps and 1 new zombie map: Ascension. Ascension is a noun which means the act of moving, climbing, or going upwards, the act of mounting, rising. In other words, it means to go up. In my opinion, Ascension will be a map about heights and going up. And if Mike Curran said in an interview, which may or may not have anything to do with this game, that he does not like heights, he will not be in this map. If he's anything to do with this game, or maybe I'm just crazy and I'm making this all up. Since we have the Curran business cleared, let's look at one more clue on Nuketown. For me, the last unsolved clue on Nuketown was this picture of this boy, of whom which significance I do not know, but I think I figured it out now. In Nazi Zombies, on the map 5, on the top floor, we see the exact same portrait. A coincidence? I think not. The portrait is labeled Hank Keirsey, Lieutenant Colonel, 1961. After a quick search on Google, I found out that Hank Keirsey was actually a Lieutenant Colonel, but currently he is the military advisor for the Call of Duty franchise. What this pretty much means is he tells the people making the games what goes on in an actual war and fight, so they could try to make the game as realistic and warlike as possible. Now, since we've tied up some more loose ends, let's talk about some Kino der Toten clues and mysteries that I have found. So far, there's only one interesting thing that I have found on the map Kino der Toten, and it is in the spawn room. If you look at this wall, it says, "Beware of the Six." I'm not entirely sure what the 6 is, but I do have some theories that I'm going to share with you. There's really only two Beware of the Six theories I have, and the first one is that it is referring to Nova 6, the toxic gas found within certain zombies in Kino der Toten. My other theory is that it's referencing the map 5, which is the 6th zombie map. The last clue section I have today is for the map 5. Inside the elevator on the bottom floor, we can find another biohazard symbol, symbolizing chemical weaponry. Once again, on the bottom floor of 5, we find a fallout shelter sign, which could explain the purpose of the laboratory on the bottom level of this pentagon. It could be a fallout shelter. Another interesting clue on 5, which may tell us a little about when it takes place, is this here chart, which pretty much is an SR-71 Blackbird chart telling us their altitude, speed, refuel, and when they took off, with dates are in the 1960s, specifically 1963, so this leads me to believe that the map 5 takes place in 1963. Another clue, which leads me to believe that this map takes place in 1963, is the exposed Space Race magazine lying on this chair. I'm pretty sure we all know that the Space Race took place in the late 50s and the early 60s, and 1963 is in the early 60s. On the top room on 5, there are all these papers lying around, and I decided to go into maximum magnification on a variable zoom scope and check out what they read. The majority of the papers on this floor are exactly the same, and they're directed to Lieutenant General Theising, of whom I have no idea. They also mention that it is top secret, and have some illegible text over them. The other paper that I was able to read here was the Kelly Report Daily, and it seems like a newspaper which is located on the top of the center bench. Well, that's it for the clues that I have today, but I also have included some predictions that I have made about the map Ascension. There was this real smart comment on part 1, and it sparked an idea inside of me that I'd like to share with you. There's this wise comment which said that the language in which the name of the zombie map is the country in which it takes place. For example, Shinonuma is in Japanese, and it takes place in Japan. Deriza is in German, and it takes place in Germany. Kino der Toten is also German, and takes place in Germany. 5 is English, and it takes place in America. Since Ascension is in English, I have a strong feeling that the map will take place within America. Well, that's it for today's video. If you or anyone you know has evidence, make sure to drop a comment or message on YouTube, or send a message with the file share link with a screenshot or a video clip to the gamer tags WeirdsBros3 and my friend Mad Mushroom. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to get updates if I make any more videos relating to this topic. And with that, I say peace out, guys. Have a great day. This is D Tiger Dude signing off.